We will never learn, will we? What's going on, guys? Welcome to Clutch People. I hope you guys are having an amazing day or night. And today I'm going to be talking about some big time news that came out in the Knicks world, and that is trading for Chris Paul. But before we get into the video, this is not a video bashing Chris Paul whatsoever. I do think he is underrated at the point guard position. A lot of Rockets fans were happy when Chris Paul was no longer a part of their team, and they thought they were going to go on to win an NBA championship when getting Russell Westbrook. When I believe Chris Paul is probably one of the most true point guards in the game today. And Russell Westbrook, don't get me wrong, he's extremely talented, so much fun to watch, but until he matures his game, he won't go on to win an NBA championship, at least being a top 2 option on a contending team. But the Knicks, of course, big time news. Kevin Knox is in a deal, potentially. This is the deal set aside, apparently, if we're going to trade for Chris Paul. And it makes no sense for me whatsoever. I was like, okay, we're starting to move in the right direction. It looks like I like Leon Rose's philosophy. But the thing I never liked was him trying to bring in his client like a Chris Paul. I get it, he is your client, but Chris Paul is getting up there in age, and knowing our luck, he's going to forget how to play the game of basketball when he comes to the New York Knicks. But never forget, we hired Kenny Payne, one of the best developmental basketball coaches, was a big part of the Kentucky program. And I was like, okay, Knox is going to have another opportunity. He's going to have another leg, and this is the last straw for Kevin Knox. So what was the point of bringing in these developmental coaches? Bringing in these guys that could draft like a Walt Parent, if most likely we might just be stuck at like the 9th or 10th seed, in my opinion, if we bring in Chris Paul. Maybe that's a playoff team if we get Chris Paul, RJ Barrett, and Mitchell Robinson. Don't think that's a crazy good team. I still think we have some problems with depth. We have to see what happens in free agency. But bringing in these developmental coaches and these guys that can scout really well, and we're also giving up picks. We're giving up Frank Ntilikina and a potential deal. We don't know if this is real. Don't get me wrong. Chris Paul is a good point guard. I think he's underrated. He's extremely good in the pick and roll. He's good at catching defenders on his hip and knocking down mid-range jumpers. He steps up in the clutch. He's really good at wheeling and dealing his way to the cup. I think this is just a rushing move, and it's the Knicks not being patient. I get it. The Knicks have not been good in a very long time. You guys are probably like, Noah, we don't have any more time for patience. I just want to see this team in the playoffs. Don't get me wrong, I do too. But if I just see this team in the playoffs for one more year, and then we're gone, and then we're stuck to just bottom of the barrel, I just don't want that. Don't get me wrong, Knox has been awful, but could we at least give Knox another year and see if he develops? Frank Ntilikina, of course, I've gotten a lot of hate for Frank Ntilikina. Some people saying he is capable of being a starter. And I'm only saying that if all the chips fall in the right place. Most likely, Frank's going to be a backup solid point guard in his NBA career at best, or a third-string point guard. And I want to thank you guys so much about support on those Frank videos. They're unbelievable. I have 2 of them, over 1,000 views. I don't understand that. There's so many Frank fans out there. But could we at least give Kevin Knox another chance? We brought in Kenny Payne. I thought that would be to help out Kevin Knox. That might just be to develop players in general. I love Mike Woodson. I think that's a win now / developmental coach that holds players accountable, and he's just a winning basketball coach, and he's gonna be real with you. Tom Thibodeau, win now mode coach for sure. He can develop players. I think that's always been an overwritten narrative of him playing players too long, when literally we saw Nick Nurse in the playoffs play Pascal Siakam and his starters literally the whole freaking game. But it just really frustrates me when I think we're going to go with our young core and be patient and try to develop these guys. And if Knox sucks this upcoming season, he sucks. But, we have nothing to lose with Kevin Knox. Also, I believe Julius Randle is in that deal as well. But I just want us to be patient. If Knox sucks, he sucks. If Frank sucks, he sucks. But I will say there is kind of a pro instead of a con when it comes to this Chris Paul trade if we end up making it. I would say the one big-time pro. I believe Chris Paul, what's he have, 2 or 3 years left on his contract? I believe so. And if we draft a point guard, he could sit behind Chris Paul and learn, but that would just be so interesting in my opinion, because this isn't the NFL. You don't draft a point guard and sit him behind them for 2 or 3 years. You know what I'm saying? I think Chris Paul is a good leader. He's definitely a vocal leader on the court. I think that's also a very overwritten narrative about how he treats his teammates. He's a winner. That's the thing with him for sure. I just hope we end up going in the right direction because I just would not be surprised if we end up trading for Chris Paul. Frank Ntilikina ends up being a very solid player elsewhere. Those draft picks end up becoming steals. Just don't give up your future for a player that's old and may not be here that long. I'm sorry, I don't want to have Chris Paul for like 2 or 3 years. Like we're solid and then we're trash again. I'm just not down with that, in my opinion. Let me know down below your thoughts. This was more of a raw video, top of my head. If you enjoyed, be sure to click that subscribe button and smash the like button. And as always, guys, have a humble day or night. Peace out, y'all.